So Google and Yahoo, as of February 1st, if you're sending emails that are not authenticated, when we say authenticated, we mean have those codes on the back end.
Yeah.
You may see error codes right now. They said on a portion of emails, they're going to start issuing error codes, but they've
Okay.
moved the hard deadline to April. So it's giving
Mm,
everyone a little bit more time to get organized. But come
okay.
April, your emails will just be flat out rejected. So it's not something, don't think April and go, oh, I
Yeah.
have until
No, a
April.
time. No.
You don't.
Hey, Anna, do you think people are listening?
Yeah, why wouldn't they be? We make business so fun.
Don't we? In that case, let's introduce ourselves.
Hey, it's Anna and Selena and the 15-ish minute coffee chat podcast. Talking business doesn't have to be boring, so dive into our coffee chat conversations and learn something new for your small business.
All right. Go.
This is what we do. This is what we do.
Anna, thank you, first of all, for wanting to do this with me because
Absolutely.
I was like, this is an important conversation and I'm super excited to bring up our guest. But today we are talking about, and have you heard about the very big Google update that does and can affect your, no, not can, not if, will affect your email marketing. So I feel like this is the wrong choice of words. And Cheryl, let me know if that's how it felt. I felt I stalked her, right? I was in a group. And I was like, I was stressing out a little bit about this and wanting to make sure the update was right. And somebody recommended and said, I would not have known about this if it wasn't for Cheryl. That was my good friend, Brenda McGowan. And so I then went to Cheryl's Instagram, which I'm going to share with you real fast because that's where my conversation with Cheryl started. Let's click over here. And I know I'm a little slow and my thing is laggy, but look, this is just how it is today. This is where I stalk Cheryl. And I clicked that little like message up there on my phone, and me and her had conversation. And I said, can we talk about this on live? And she was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. No problem. But without further ado, let's bring Cheryl up.
Let us bring her up. Hi,
Hi,
Cheryl.
Hi, Kay. How are you?
good. Okay, first of all, how crazy was I that you listened to my message and you're like, okay,
It's
let's
not
talk
that
about it.
crazy. It's been happening to me all month, actually,
I'm not.
because it's such a hot topic and everyone's, what is even going on? So
Yeah,
I've actually
Yeah.
had the fun of meeting all kinds of new people this month. It's been great.
I'm
Yeah.
not surprised because when you start to read into what the update is for email marketing and the requirements, it gets like really foggy in my brain and I just want to shut down because there's a lot of
Yeah.
technical terms that are being used that I'm not an expert on the technical side of the email marketing, right?
Very few people are, so you'd be 100% normal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't need to know this on a day-to-day basis to do email marketing. This is
Yeah.
setup stuff that you do.
I think Cheryl, right. The scary words, and for me, I love tech, but this is a part of tech that I'm not comfortable in. But when you hear words like DMARC, DKIM, and SPF,
Yeah.
it's how I feel as a military spouse with all the acronyms in the military world.
Yeah, totally.
And so can you just share real quickly with everybody, what is this Google update? And it did take effect on February 1st, but tell everybody kind of what this is and why they need to be looking out for it.
There's a lot of backstory to why they're doing it, but like in a nutshell, they're trying to prevent spam because since like around 2019, the amount of email we sent has more than doubled. And then they find that 50% or more of that is actually spam. So what's happening then is people, the background of it, they say they're trying to help us out, right? But Google's a business. They don't really care about my inbox or your inbox. It's going to result in cleaner inboxes for all of us. It's going to be a good thing. But what was going on is that people were abandoning email accounts at a record rate. Like you sign up for a free like Hotmail account or Gmail account, and then you like all the flyers go to that one. You keep it like, and then you forget you have it. Yeah, so that was happening at a record rate. And so the first phase of this actually started in December. They started deleting abandoned Gmail accounts. So if you hadn't logged into your account in over 2 years, they deleted them all. So that if you hadn't cleaned your email list in a while and you had some of these accounts on your email list, you're gonna get a large amount of hard bounces all of a sudden. So that was the first concern for us email marketers, is making sure we have clean lists of just engaged subscribers. But that was part of it. And they're just ramping up anti-spam measures more than ever before. And that's ultimately a good thing for all of us, but as marketers, we have to learn to play that game because sometimes we accidentally look like spammers when we're not. It's really easy to fall into spam patterns because what Google and Yahoo think is a spammer and what we think is a spammer is not the same thing, right? We think of phishing emails where they're like, when you put your credit card in or somebody died and you inherited money, just give us your credit card, like that kind of stuff. Of course, that's spam, but also we can accidentally look like spammers just by sending email people don't want or don't open, or using certain words or certain behaviors because the algorithms are looking for patterns, right? So all of these measures are actually a good thing. It's just as marketers, and the problem is as small business owners and solo entrepreneurs, we're our own tech teams, right? So for us, this feels like a big scary thing, but in actuality, it's going to be good. We just have to get through the requirements and making sure that we're compliant going forward.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I, as a small business owner, encountered, first of all, was understanding that the email marketing platform I use is not doing this for me, right? MailChimp,
Yeah.
ConvertKit, MailerLite, whatever it is that you use, Flowdesk, they are not doing this for you. So, if you are a small business owner thinking, they'll take care of it, they're not
No.
taking care of it.
So it's interesting because some of the ESP, we call them ESPs for short, it's email service provider. Those are the people who, like the platform you use to send bulk emails. So a lot of the ESPs are using language that makes you think they're handling it for you, which is incredibly frustrating for me as an expert trying to educate on this topic because and they're doing it, I think, with good intention. They're trying to calm everyone down. Like, it's okay. And I think that's the angle they're coming at it with. Like ConvertKit, Kajabi said that they would handle it for people. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything. And that infuriates me because you do have to do something because Kajabi can only help you with Kajabi. They have no idea where else you send email in your business. You're responsible for your whole brand. And so I think some people are under a false assumption that, "Oh, I did the thing with my main ESP, now I'm good."
Yeah, Cheryl,
And
that's
they
such an
forget.
important distinction that it's not
Mhm.
just one avenue, it's your entire brand and
Yeah,
all the email that you're sending.
yeah. So let me clarify because I don't think I said I don't and make it really clear for your listeners because 'cause they're like, "What are you even talking about?" So what the changes mean, all of those acronyms have to do with what we call authenticating your domain. And what that means, your domain is like your at mine would be at @cherylrarick.com. You know, it's like your website or the last part of your email address, the domain that you own. So before, when you sent emails through your ConvertKits, your Active Campaigns, your Kajabi, whoever you're using, your MailerLite, whatever, if you didn't have that set up, it wasn't required. It was always best practice to have it, but it was never required before. And so what you were doing if you didn't have this was you were just borrowing their reputation. So when you send an email, you are borrowing ConvertKit's reputation or Active Campaign's reputation. So it's like when the servers change hands, Active Campaign takes the email to the recipient's like Gmail and says, "Hey, I'm Active Campaign. I have an email from Cheryl to Selena and Anna." And then the Gmail be like, do some security checks and spam checks. And they're like, okay, so Active Campaign says Cheryl's cool, so we'll accept it. Or Active Campaign has like a good reputation, so we'll take that email. So now what Google and Yahoo are doing is making us ride on our own reputation. We have to have our own domain reputation. So now when that exchange happens, they want to look at Cheryl and be like, hey, do people like Cheryl's emails? Do they open them? Does Cheryl follow the rules? And can she prove with ID who she says she is? So she's not someone pretending to be Cheryl. Because it happens more than we realize phishing emails is the hackers like use your email to send spam. So it looks like you're spamming. They like hijack your email. So these measures protect your brand. So I know it feels scary and like hard, but you're really just putting security for your brand name, which is really good thing to do. And so that's sort of the main way to understand this change is like now you have to prove who you say you are when you show up with an email for people's inboxes. And that's what all those letters mean.
Yeah. No. DKIM, SPF, ESP. I didn't even say that earlier, but that's another acronym, right?
You want me to
But
break the acronyms down? Do you want me to
well, you
explain them
can.
easily?
Yeah, let's do that. But look, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I also want to share, and this is how I learned about it. Is I took actually Cheryl's free webinar and learned about this, the importance of it. And I'm going to actually share her link so you can actually do and take it as well, because I think it's really important. No joke. Educate yourself about your business, because I think Cheryl just said it,
Mhm.
right? It's part of, right? See, look, Pink Wear Angels is a cancer nonprofit. Can you imagine if they don't get their stuff together, like that they can't send out their emails to their donors and sponsors, and that would just suck. It is important to know, and it's not easy, but it's doable, right?
It's actually all it is copying and pasting some lines of code into
Yeah,
your DNS records, which is like where your website records are.
yeah,
So the process of doing it is not complicated. The complicated part is understanding what you're doing and
yeah,
making sure and
yeah,
figuring out what exactly you need to do. Because, like I said, you're responsible for your brand. Guess what? We're all different. We all use different
yeah,
apps in our business.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there isn't really a cookie cutter way. And so that's the
yeah.
challenging part is the understanding part. And that's what I'm trying to help everyone figure
Yes.
out.
Okay. Lay out those acronyms real quickly,
Okay.
and don't worry
I'm
if
going to
you
give you
don't
the
remember
quick
it,
version.
guys. Yeah, yeah,
I'll give you the quick version, but I go into it much better in my free class, my free webinar because we have more time there. But SPF is your approved senders list. Think of it as a list of all the places you've given the rubber stamp. They're cool to send email from my brand, right? Yes, I allow Google Workspace to send email from me. I allow MailerLite to send email from me, and I allow Stripe to send email as on behalf of at CherylRarick.com, my brand. So it's like one list of all the places you send email for. So that's all it is. So that when the online post office checks to see if you're who you say you are, like, yep, these people are allowed to send email from Cheryl. DKIM is domain keys identified mail. You never need to know that. Don't worry
Thank
about it. What I call DKIM is it's the wax seal. Like the old days, you watch an episode of Outlander and they put the wax seal and they have a fancy emblem on it and it seals the message. And so when it gets where it's going, it hasn't been tampered with. That's what DKIM is for your emails. That's all it is. It's a special seal. It's key. There's a key, like a public key and a private key. So a secret emblem. And then you publish what the outside emblem is so that when the mail arrives, they can go, yes, this is actually Cheryl's wax seal on this envelope, not someone else's. And that's all it is. It's actually really cool if you think about it. And it's actually a really good thing to have. And again, it's just lines of code that you copy and paste.
you.
Hey,
Sounds
Cheryl.
scarier than it is.
Yeah, Cheryl, you say code, and some people are like running.
But you don't have to write the code. You just
Right, right.
copy it and paste it. But you do need to know where to find it, and that's where it gets tricky because each app is a little different. And then the last one, I don't even know the acronym. I have to always read it. It's DMARC, which is domain-based message authentication reporting and conformance, like a mouthful of word salad. So all you need to know is that's your contingency plan. That's the extra layer to make sure the other two are working. And it's the policy you set. You tell them what to do with your email if the other two fail. So the point of all of this is to protect your brand. So if someone is pretending to be you and they don't have the other measures in place, what do you want them to do with it? Do you want them to put it in the spam folder? Do you want them to reject it completely? Or do you want them to do nothing and just like report on it and let you know what's going on? So it's just a contingency plan, but you get to decide what that plan is. And where people get in trouble, I think, we were talking about how the ESPs say, oh, no, you're good. It's fine. Is that you can actually block your own messages. So if you put that in place and you've only done ConvertKit or Kajabi or you're the main place you send email and you haven't done the other places like Google Workspace or Stripe or Shopify or wherever else you send email from, if you're not including those in that approved senders list or you haven't put any wax seals on that, and then you do the contingency plan, the DMARC one, you're basically telling them to put your own emails in spam if you haven't done all the work properly. So I think that's the piece people are missing sometimes when they're not understanding how these things actually work in the back end. And let me tell you, a little bit of knowledge goes so far. I'm getting a ton of feedback inside my workshop course that once you understand what these are, it becomes so much easier to do the work of implementing it because it's not mysterious. So a little
Yeah.
bit of learning goes a long way.
Yeah.
Ah, man. I
We need to share that course because I feel like everyone's like, let's share the course already. How do
yeah.
we do this?
Yeah. So I'm going to share this. And then if you are watching on LinkedIn, we will drop in the link to a webinar right after the show is done. But let me share the screen. And then Cheryl's just going to talk a little bit about it. And
Yeah. So this is a free class. So this is a class. It's a long one. So get your glass of water ready. But I promise
I
it's a
love that.
long because I take it easy on you. The
Mhm.
reason why it's long is because we unpack it in an easy way. And I think by the end of this, most people are like, okay, I got it. I know what's happening. I know why it's happening. It makes total sense. And I actually understand why this is a really good thing for me to do.
Mhm.
Not just something you have to. It feels like it's being done to us right now, doesn't it? It feels like
Right.
something's happening to us right now. But this is actually encouraging you, giving you a deadline to do something that's actually really good and protective for your own brand.
Mhm.
So this is where you should start because I really unpack the why, the what's happening, why it's happening, some other stuff about spam rates and different things like that in here. And
Yeah.
then I also
Uh,
have a paid workshop series where if you actually need step by step, like tutorials for how you do it, then I have that as well. But most people, the
okay.
free class gives you a lot to get you started for sure.
Is that the automate and chill class?
No, but that's my group
No. Okay.
program, which is my favorite thing in the
Okay.
world. But
Okay.
if you scroll
Okay.
up to the top
Yeah.
of this workshop, that there's a
Yeah. Oh,
top
to
bar
the
here
top.
that's like a
Oh, yeah.
shortcut to the, yeah, it's called Deliverability Unboxed. And
Okay.
it's $197, 6 workshops. We've had 5 already.
Mhm.
They're not live, it's all recorded, so you do it at your own pace, and they're broken
Awesome.
into small consumable videos, but this is the whole, like, tutorials for all the platforms. If your platform's not
Mhm.
in there, let me know, I'll record one for what you're
Okay.
using, and it's very this is for people who are like, "Okay, but how exactly? How do I piece this together for me? Because 'Cause we're all
Right.
different, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But the free class will explain everything, so you'll have a clear
Mhm.
understanding, and a lot of people, once they have that's all they need, so there's both options.
Okay.
I love
No,
that
I
you do
love
both
that.
options. Yeah. Some
Mhm.
people will need
Yeah.
that step by step, and others are just like, just explain it to me so I know where to even get started at.
Yeah, I came into this by accident. I'm a certified deliverability expert, and I have been for about a year. So I've been studying this stuff, has been in my world already. So when this happened, I was in a position to understand the scope of what it was. And this announcement was made in October, and you didn't hear nothing about it from most apps until January. So I knew immediately that this was going to be a really big learning curve for my community of solopreneurs, course creators, coaches, people who are their whole tech team, right? Big companies, they've had this in place a long time or they know exactly what it is, but it's our community that is going to be most affected because why would we know that? Right? Like,
Yeah.
why would you know these things? You wouldn't. Why would
That
you
is
know that?
exactly.
Yeah, so I went on, like when I came out with that free class, it wasn't a launch per se. I wasn't intending to ever sell a course on this, or it wasn't in my plan. So it wasn't a webinar that's like a sales webinar, like a launch webinar. It was like, I'm here to try and help my community. And yes, I will offer paid service if you want help, but it was never from that perspective. I just really want everyone's email list to be safe because that's how it's our livelihood, right? It's how we make money.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And look, I sold this. Hey, Cheryl, can I have some of your time? Letting her know just 10-15 minutes. But I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure I shared this resource. And there was, I talked to, if look, a lot of you guys also are marketers and you work for clients. And there also, Cheryl had mentioned that there is someone she would refer company or a company out to should
Yep.
you need assistance with this. If this is not in your bandwidth or your skill set, Cheryl actually recommended something to us backstage that I know I'm going to push on to my client. So as soon as we're done, because funny enough, when we were backstage, I had just told Cheryl, I just got an email from one of my clients with the biggest list that I manage. And he's like, hey, what's our next steps here? So
So if you
um,
want
yeah,
someone to just do it for you, you're like, "Listen,
yeah.
Cheryl, I cannot even deal." Understandable. That's totally cool. So in that, I still would encourage you to watch the free class,
Oh,
actually, even if you don't
100%.
wanna do it for yourself, because
Mhm.
as business owners, this is the new world of email marketing, and you really need to have a baseline understanding, and then you can hire out
Yeah,
the actual doing if you want to.
yeah.
So in that class, my friends at Email Smart, they're the people who trained me, the
Mhm.
absolute experts. They've been doing this for 20 years. They are my partners in this project, and they do have an agency that can take care of the done for you. It's linked once you get into the webinar, that's them, Adrian and Evan. They have an agency that does this. So once you get into the class watch page with the video, there's a link on there. And there's also a link on the workshop page at the very bottom if you're like, "Listen, just do it for me," to their
Yeah,
done for you services. I can get you a direct link though too
yeah.
after if you like.
Yes.
But I would still recommend you watch the class just to understand what you're hiring out
Yep.
Yeah.
so you know what's
No,
going on. Yeah.
yeah, I think honestly, if you are in marketing and email is part of your what you do, this is
Mhm.
a still a very important class. Honestly, like I've been doing it a while and I still learned so much from this. So I feel like I can walk a little bit more confidently. I still don't want to do it, Cheryl, but
That's okay. That's
I have
okay.
some knowledge that I can explain to my client, hey, this is what we got to do because of this and this. And
Yeah.
I found a company because Cheryl is awesome like that.
Yeah, so there's 2 options. You can hire it out to be done, but if you have
Mhm.
service providers listening who do email for clients, if
Yeah.
you take my workshop series to learn it for yourself, I'm okay with you using that for your clients as well.
Okay.
Like, I may not be able to answer every question on behalf like if you have 20 clients and you're coming at me
Mhm.
like detailed specific questions for everyone, because I
Right.
do
Yeah.
a lot of looms inside of the workshops for people with
Yeah.
specific questions.
Okay.
So I can't like coach each and every one of your clients,
Yeah.
but clarifying questions about how it all works and stuff, I'm fine with people
Okay.
That's
taking
a
that to learn to provide a service as well. That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
That's a
Yeah.
beautiful bonus, like, add-on offer, Cheryl. So thank you for being willing to do
Yeah.
that for people that need that extra and wanna help their clients through that process. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot
It's
right
a
now.
No.
lot. It
So
is a
Yeah.
one
lot.
word
Thank you.
about the
Yeah.
deadline. Let's clarify
Yes.
that
Oh
because
yeah.
things
Let's
are
do that.
changing in real
Yeah.
time as we're going here. The deadline was February 1st, right? This was like we were
5 days
joking,
ago. Yeah.
email get in or whatever.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
starts on February 1st. So Google and Yahoo have actually decided to roll it out a lot softer than originally we all thought they would. It'd be cool if they gave us notice about that, whatever. So right now, as of February 1st, if you're sending emails that are not authenticated, when we say authenticated, we mean have those codes on the back end.
Yeah.
You may see error codes right now. They said on a portion of emails, they're going to start issuing error codes. So a portion. We don't really know who, what, where, what. So keep an eye out for that if you see any weird error codes come in, and that's what
Yeah.
that is. But they've
Okay.
moved the hard deadline to April. So it's giving
Mm,
everyone a little bit more time to get organized. But come
okay.
April, your emails will just be flat out rejected. So it's not something, don't think April and go, oh, I
Yeah.
have until
No.
April.
Time.
You
No.
don't.
No.
You have February to do it, March to fix any problems. And then that's it. So now is the time to
Yeah.
handle it. But if you're like, "What? Wait, I haven't heard of this yet. Did I miss the deadline? Can I not send email?" No, you can send email. Just keep an eye out that you may see some issues, and if you do, that's what that is.
Yeah,
But keep
and just
working on it.
from a perspective of somebody who receives a lot of emails and sends a lot of emails, I've had emails that have bounced back that have said, no, you
Mhm.
can't, these are being rejected. And I've received some very interesting emails that said, I tried to send you this, but we consider it malware or mal
Oh, that's
something.
unrelated. Interestingly enough,
Oh,
you
is
want to hear
it?
that drama?
Oh, I thought it was from this DMARC thing, but
Bec-
okay, different
Because it was the
conversation
same
for that one.
weekend. Yeah, it happened at the exact same time, so I think everyone thought that was what it was. That was specifically with MailerLite, the company MailerLite. They actually had a breach last week where some, I guess I call them hackers, I don't know if that's what you call them, got in and sent phishing emails, so pretended to be some people and
Got it.
sending spam on their behalf, but it was a small amount. However, It was enough to get MailerLite's own links listed on some of the spam lists, like the block lists.
Oh
And so
gosh.
it was appearing that there was malware on MailerLite's domain. So anyone using, especially the free version, it has the MailerLite links in the bottom or the view in the browser link. Those are MailerLite's links. It was showing that warning at the top that there was malware in this email. They worked their butt off. I'm pretty sure it's all sorted out now to fix it because it was a bit of a calamity that happened. And it happened at the time. I think everyone's assuming they haven't done something correct. Oh, I didn't do it right.
I
Yeah,
totally tied the two together.
I
It's
know.
thank you for
Everyone
the
has. Yeah.
information. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, look at
It
this.
was a specific isolated incident that has been remedied to my knowledge. I'm not
Oh,
a
cool.
MailerLite
Yeah.
expert, but I'm pretty sure they've sorted it out at least. Yeah. But we
Okay.
are
See
going to see these
yes. Okay.
notices. I don't remember
Mhm.
ever seeing a notice like that before. I'm sure we've all received spam with malware before, but
Yeah.
now it's more. Do you see how Google is changing everything inside the inbox? Yeah. To be less spam.
Yeah. Whew, such good
Okay.
information.
Yeah. Cheryl, thank you so much, honestly, for saying yes to this conversation. And I think people
Yeah,
need
my pleasure.
to make sure you share it. Again, Anna, let's bring up the link that we have on YouTube and we're going to add it to LinkedIn. I did add it here in Instagram on my account, but I'll probably add Cheryl's link in my bio just so you can easily click over to take her webinar. If you're involved in marketing in any way, just go check out the free deliverability on demand. I'm like saying too many words because I'm just like, my mind is going, Cheryl. My mind is going.
I know,
So,
mine too. I
Yeah.
promise it's
yeah,
worth your time.
yeah,
It's a decent length class. You can watch it on
yeah,
2 times speed if you want it. Listen to me like a chipmunk, that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But it is essential learning going forward into
yeah.
2024, and you won't have to hear me talk that long ever again, I promise, if you join my workshops. There's short videos in there.
Yeah. And
No,
honestly, as someone who I think I've already done all the steps, I'm going to sign up for this because I want to make sure I've done
Yeah.
all the steps. I think I've completed everything, but now I'm like, there might have been something I did not think of
I
that should
wasn't think.
have
Yeah,
worked
I
out.
wasn't even thinking about my CRM, like Dubsado. Like I wasn't even thinking about that in my head, right?
There
Because
you
it
So
go.
was
how you
then.
can
For
tell, I'll
my
give you a free tip. How you can tell
Okay.
what
Hmm.
you have to look out for is the ones that come from your domain. So if
Yeah.
there's some of these sites like PayPal usually comes
Hmm.
from at PayPal. That's
Right.
their domain. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that.
Okay.
But if it's from at your domain, then that's something
Hmm.
you're going to look into making sure you have
Yeah.
covered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay.
good to know.
All right.
Right.
Oh,
You heard it
I'm gonna
right
put.
here. You better get going.
It's not so
All
bad, I
right.
promise.
I know. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for the conversation. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the back. Oh my gosh. Did they actually make it to the outro music?
I told you this would work, Selena.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in to today's show. Now head on over to annaandselena.com to listen to more of the 15-ish minute coffee chat. We've got over 100 episodes, all geared to making your businesses more fun and profitable.